Recently, someone left a note on my desk that has had me thinking ever since. It wasn't a very long note, nor a particularly unusual thing to happen, but nonetheless, this particular note has held my thoughts ever since. My name is Ian Currey, and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what the note said and why it made me think. Have you ever met someone that holds your attention the very first time you meet them? You know, the sort of thing. They solve a problem you've been wrestling with for ages, or show you how to do something so simply that you wonder why you hadn't done it that way before. Why didn't I see it that way before? I once watched an old sailor seem to just flick his wrist, and a lovely knot formed in the rope he was holding. He hadn't done it to show off. He didn't know I was there. It just happened. He did it because he could. I love learning to do new things and enjoy skills others demonstrate. Always eager to learn something new, I often spend time asking the students in my class all about what they did before working for an airline. You'd be amazed at some of the things they've done, and even more amazed at some of the skills hiding in the crew you'll meet each time you fly. Now, there's a thing, isn't it? Skills and gifting hiding inside people. One of the things I often think about is those special gifts. I mean, where on earth do those gifted musicians, artists and dancers, the clever mathematicians and writers, the cooks, the builders, the designers, where do they get those gifts from? Okay, so some of it comes from hard graft. They stay up late, burn the candle at both ends, and study. But you know what I'm talking about, the special ones. The ones who we call gifted. I suppose we shouldn't be surprised that since we're made in the image of God, that some of the attributes of God has already spaces in us designated for them. Ooh, what a fun thought. God intentionally designed us to be carriers of special gifts, skills, abilities, and all sorts of other lovely things. Whatever is good and perfect is a gift coming down from God our Father, who created all the lights in the heavens. So what did that note left on my desk say? And what's it got to do with gifting from God? Well, the note really didn't say much at all. It just had a verse reference left on it. The note simply said, "Thank you," and Matthew 5, verse 16. Now, I've read that part of the Bible often enough to know what it says at that address. It says, "Let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father." The context there is held in the sentence before, which talks about no one lighting a lamp and putting it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. So why did this make me think? Well, I wondered what the person who wrote the note might be thinking. Were they putting the note there because they thought I should be letting whatever light they thought I had shine for all to see? Or were they recognizing that I was doing that, and this note just recognized the light was shining? I should, or I was. Do I overthink things sometimes? Of course I do. I'm a thinker, and this program series isn't called Thinking Out Loud by accident. But seriously, why the note? It occurred to me that to write such a note, the writer must have recognized somehow that I had a light to shine. Perhaps it was just a, aha, I know what makes you tick kind of note. Whether or not they thought I needed to turn up the brightness or not seemed to be the only possible question. Reading on from the quote, the very next chapter, still part of the same speech that Jesus was making, has another way to look at things. Watch out. Don't do your good deeds publicly to be admired by others. Trust Jesus to come up with two ideas in the same speech that seem to conflict with each other. Let your good deeds shine out for all to see. And don't do your good deeds publicly. If instead of focusing on that seeming contradiction, we look at the other half of the two sentences, we'd see the why behind the what. Watch out, don't do your good deeds publicly to be admired by others. And let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. Do you see? The idea here is that the special deed or gift isn't to be a look at me doing all this good stuff, but a look at God and how well he made the gift fit inside me. In the workplace or with our friends and people we meet, there should be enough of God in us, perhaps represented by actions or attitudes, that others notice and are drawn to God himself as a result. Certainly at work, I'm not there going around trying to impress people. God is very generous, and if he decided to fill me up with gifts and abilities that are somehow attractive and noticeable, then that's what's going to leak out. Well, for people to see. I don't have to make a funny face and try and squeeze it out. Or pretend that I'm trying to remember to be nice or something. What leaks out is what's in there. I suppose that's just as well because I don't have a good enough memory to remember what I'm supposed to act like with all that's going on around me all day. It's so much easier just to be who God has created me to be. What kind of good deeds shine out of you? What's God put in there? I hope what others see leaking from us really is drawing those around us closer to him. I wonder what my next note will be when somebody leaves another one on my desk. Perhaps the next time the class is a little rowdy, it might say, sorry, Acts 2:15. Until next time, goodbye.